Hi there, welcome to DesignSpark, where today we're going to be talking about HMI panels. And we've got Bash Suresh from IDEC. Hi Bash, do you want to say hello to DesignSpark?
Hi, Greg. Hi, DesignSpark. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm Bhavat Suresh. I am the product manager for automation, safety, and mobility systems in the IDEC portfolio. I've been with IDEC for about almost 3 years now, and I specialize in automation systems, safety systems, as well as robotic systems, including AGV, also cobots.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for joining us today, Bav. I really do appreciate you taking the time to talk to our DesignSpark audience. Obviously, with automation, HMI in general, we're seeing widely everywhere these days. As a way for either users or people to integrate with various different functions and operations. So, in terms of the IDEC product we're going to talk about today, which is the HG2J, if we start first of all to focus on the functionality, what are the main call outs for that product?
Well, the HG2J HMI is a very high spec industrial grade HMI. Right? It has a host of functionalities that are advantageous to users. If I have to mention a few, I'd probably start with the projected capacitive touchscreen that is on the HMI, or PCAP touchscreen for short. So what it has to do is it has to do with the way the external display is designed, the way it is layered, as opposed to analog resistive touchscreens. The external screen itself is a glass top structure. Now, there are a number of advantages that are associated with the glass top structure itself. To start off with, it effectively negates any kind of mechanical durability issues. It offers high mechanical resistance, and also it offers a brighter display, or at about 800 cross 480 pixels. It also an interesting thing about the glass top structure is that it is able to withstand about 15 Gs of force. So to give you an idea of let's say a like for like, if you take an example of your iPhone touchscreens, the Gorilla Glass, those screens can withstand up to 4 Gs of force. So it gives you an idea of how tough the glass top structures are actually are. In addition to that, the projected capacitive touchscreens also make it possible for the HMI to operate around water droplets, as well as they can also be operated with gloves up to 1.5 millimeter in thickness. For some industries, those are, let's say, very advantageous functionalities or features to have. The most common one that I can remember is the food and beverage industry, for example. Uh, in terms of the food and beverage industry, then again, another feature that I would like to mention is that while the glass top structure is touch sensitive, it is also resistant to antiseptic solutions as well as concentrated chemicals, making it easier to wipe down. The front panel itself meets IP66F, 67F rating, and operable temperature, or the temperature in which the HMI can operate, ranges from minus 20 degrees Celsius to plus 55 degrees Celsius. Then again, most of the competition out there, the HMIs don't operate below 0 degrees Celsius. In addition to that, what is also available on the side are USB ports. So these are USB-A ports that you can use to connect to peripheral devices, be it
Mm-hmm.
mice or keyboard or your barcode scanners, and those kinds of devices. If not, you can also use them with USB sticks. You can perform operations like data logging, you can do recipe handling, you can also do program transfers. If not, you can also use it with a USB dongle, and you can achieve a wireless connection with your HMI in order to wirelessly program and perform maintenance actions on it as well.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
these are some of the, let's say, the main features that prove advantageous in an industrial setting.
yeah. Absolutely. I think what you were calling out there, obviously, with the glass, the gloves, the wireless, the USB. There's a lot of features there which, as you say, make it very attractive to use within the industrial environments. If we're talking about the industrial environment, for example, if we look at communication protocols, which ones are supported by the HG2J?
Well, the HG2J has multi-protocol support, which means that it supports up to four different protocols and it can communicate with four different protocols simultaneously, which means that it can connect to four different devices that are working on four different communication protocols at the same time, and with support for over 100 different protocols such as Modbus TCP, server, client, the Modbus RTU, Ethernet IP, your backnet, MQTT. So all of these are the communication protocols that the HG2J supports. And with the support to these kind of, let's say, versatile communication protocols, it allows for flexible integration into your industrial systems, be it any kind of a system that you're working with.
As we're talking about communication protocols and you were talking about integration within industrial systems, there is another aspect maybe we should just touch on, and that's programming software for these products. What should users expect in terms of licensing, training, and ease of use for this product?
Well, the software for programming are HMIs. We call it WindIO NV4. Now, the software itself is a very intuitive piece of software. It is very user friendly and it is very straightforward to use. It supports it supports a symbol library which has over 7,000 symbols. And if the users are still not, let's say, comfortable with the symbols that are inbuilt, it also offers a feature wherein you can import whatever pictures you'd like and use them in your graphic interfaces.
Right.
The software also offers what we call inbuilt communication drivers. Uh, those communication drivers are not only meant for IDEC PLCs, but also for other major control system manufacturers. It also includes your communication drivers for major protocols like the Modbus TCP, your Modbus RTU, Ethernet, and backnet as well. And in terms of licensing, our software is a one-time purchase. So
Right.
you buy it once, you can install it on as many number of local systems as you'd like, and you get free updates throughout your life.
Fantastic. Yes, that's really handy to know. When you're investing in the product, it's always great to understand what the licensing requirements are. Also, so yeah, great for sharing that with us, Bath. One of the things that you were mentioning previously has led me to ask another question, and this is about remote access. Is it possible for users to configure remote access if they wanted to create alarms and custom web pages, for example?
Yes, the HE2J supports a functionality, something that we call the web server functionality. So with this functionality, what users can do is they can design their own graphic interfaces to suit their applications or their requirements, and they can pretty much access that web page on any standard web browser with the right IP address and the password that will be pre-configured on the software when you are programming the HG2J. So using this functionality, remote access can be achieved to remotely monitor or to perform maintenance to reduce your response times during critical situations as such.
Fantastic. And also, with that remote access, a supplementary question, if I may, about IoT functionality. Is there anything that you can tell me around that?
Well, the HG2J is a completely IoT enabled product, Greg. In terms of IoT functionalities, there are a host of IoT functionalities. One of the major ones is one of the protocols that I mentioned earlier, the MQTT protocol. It stands for Message Queuing, Telemetry, and Transport. So, with this protocol, what it enables the user to do is that it enables a connection to a cloud based server without requiring any kind of a gateway. This allows the seamless flow of data from all of the customer's site, irrespective of the location or the irrespective of the number of machines that it is being used on. This seamless flow of data can also be accessed by the customer across any device any smart device that can be used to subscribe to that cloud-based service. Common cloud-based services include your Google Cloud and your I forget, the Microsoft Azure. So along with that, that is the major IoT functionalities. Along with that, the HG2J also offers features like the FTP protocol or file transfer protocol that allows the HG2J to connect directly to a local machine, and you can have free flow of data with respect to your data logging, your alarm logging onto the local machine itself. You do not need to you do not need to access behind the panel, make connections, and get the data out. Also, it supports functionalities like SNS and your email functionalities as well,
Hmm.
wherein you can get notifications to your email on, let's say, uh, um, a preset value. Let's say there is a user site wherein the user wants to know if a particular value has crossed its limits and an alarm has been raised. So when that alarm has raised, you get an email notification directly to any pre-configured email according to the user's, uh, let's say, convenience.
Fantastic. The thing I see obviously more often these days, I've been within the industry for quite a bit of time. Obviously, is the HMI panels are everywhere. From smart screens, if you essentially think about how we interact with our smartphone, but we're seeing HMI panels everywhere. So, in terms of the HG2J, what are the type of customers that these products are aimed at? And obviously, you've spoke about some of the features. I just wondered if you could maybe mention how they will benefit from this product also.
Right. So the HG2J itself is a very versatile product, Greg. With respect to the features that I talked about, it finds an application in a lot of, let's say, user requirements in their industrial settings. So any kind of an application that requires a display with a very user-friendly interface, the HG2J finds an application. The most common users include your original equipment manufacturers or your OEMs,
Hmm.
be it your factory automation engineers, your machine builders, and also system integrators as well. These users usually operate in sectors like your manufacturing, process control, packaging, and machinery operation as well. So these users, the most of the advantages that we have received feedback on, saying, "Oh, this was useful to our setting in this way." The most common functionalities that they say that is useful is the user-friendly interface, be it the cost effectiveness or the versatile connectivity and integration. All very useful features that are advantageous to the users.
Yeah, Bav, it's really interesting to hear in great detail what the HMI has to offer these users, but also I would imagine additional products. So for the HG2J, what are those other products that you would maybe recommend which are similar, for example?
Well, we offer a product that is very similar to our HMI. We notice that the most common integrations that our HMI gets in the industry is with a PLC. So
Hmm.
what we did was we also offer a product called the FT2J, which is a HMI plus PLC kind of a product. What it is essentially it is our 7-inch HMI, the HG2J at the front, and on the back of it is a PLC that has features that are pretty similar to our flagship PLC. It is very compact, it is fast, and it offers the same versatility in terms of integration as our HG2J HMI.
Okay, that's interesting to hear. I wasn't obviously aware of that particular product. So in terms of the PLC aspect of it's the
FT2J.
FT2J. What are we talking about in terms of I/O, for example? How many I/O are we carrying on the back of that?
Well, the FT2J, out of the box, you have 22 IOs. This is made up of 14 inputs, of which 4 can be configured as either digital or analog. And there are 8 outputs, which can be either 8 relay outputs at 2 ampere per point, or it can be a combination of 6 transistor outputs and 2 analog outputs. Again, one of the features that most of the competition do not do is have analog inputs and analog outputs on the main controller itself. This particular feature is, let's say, very advantageous in certain kind of applications that require connecting to analog devices such as
Mhm.
sensors. So in those kinds of applications, it is very advantageous to have analog inputs and outputs on the main controller itself without requiring any kind of, let's say, yeah, expansions.
That's interesting to hear about. In terms of analog signals, what is it that the FT2J accepts?
Oh, well, both the analog input and outputs can be configured for either 0 to 10 volts or 4 to 20 milliamps. If the application requires any kind of a temperature or PID inputs, we also have a solution for that as well.
Great, fantastic. And also, you did mention about you said out of the box. What does that mean in terms of this device? Can you expand on that device, for example, or just you give us a little bit more information?
Yes, there are expansions available in terms of expansion cartridges. There are 2 expansion cartridge slots on the, let's say, back of the FT2J. So with these cartridge expansions, you can expand on both digital and analog IOs. This is also where you can add your temperature sensor inputs such
Mhm.
as PT100 and thermocouples, raising the maximum IO to a total of 30 points. One more interesting part about this is that the cartridges or the cartridge expansion slots are built into the body of the FT2J itself. Most of the competition, when they offer expansions, it let's say demands behind the panel depth, so it would require extra panel depth. Now, because the cartridge expansions are built into the main unit itself, you do not require any kind of an additional behind the panel depth. You can integrate it into the main control unit itself.
Yeah, that's handy to know that in advance. Obviously, in terms of flexibility, then you're offering so much more opportunity, in the future that you don't have to then reconfigure in the panel, if you like. I just want to talk now. Okay, you're talking about the product, but in terms of the processing speed of this device, what is it we're looking at?
Well, pretty much like I said, the PLC on the back of the FT2J has pretty much similar features as our flagship PLC, including the speed. It is a very fast processing speed at 21 nanoseconds per step. So this let's say speed is owing to the dual processor design that the FT2J has. Now, most of the competition, what they do is they work off of one processor, and the one processor will have to handle both the graphics part as well as the PLC's control system part as well. Now, having 2 processors on there, what the FT2J will be able to do is it will be able to dedicate one processor just to handle the HMI graphics, whereas the other processor will handle all the control system processing part. So, with this kind of a configuration, the user will not have to compromise in between having better graphics or with having faster processing speed.
Cool. And Bav, just before we finish, it's been a really good discussion to talk about the HG2J and the FT2J. Before we finish, are there any other features that you want to tell us about either of those products, for example?
Actually, yes. The FT2J also what it incorporates is our high speed counter functions. They input four single phase at 20 kilohertz or two phase at 10 kilohertz. Also, the unit has the IDEC PID instruction for closed loop control of processes, such as you can control your flow, your pressure, or your temperature, or more. So yeah, it offers integration, a very versatile integration into whatever requirements that the user might have in their industrial setting.
Great. Bav, it's been great to talk to you today, and particularly find out more about these products. There's a lot of considerations there for users, but I think, in terms of what you've shared with me today, these are two really interesting products. So I recommend, if people want to find out more about these products, go to RS or have a look on IDEC. But yeah, as you mentioned, that there's quite a lot of functionality in there, thought of design, thought of application, for example. So great to have you on DesignSpark. I hope we can have you on DesignSpark sometime soon.
It has been an absolute pleasure, Greg. Thank you for the invitation.